Hi Stampers, it's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot. Thanks for joining me again for another Mystery Monday video. So we're going to do this fun project today. Everyone loves a fun fold card, and at my recent card sketch challenge, I do one every second Wednesday. One of our stampers that joined us showed us some really beautiful fun fold cards that she had done in her spare time, and they were just amazing, and literally everybody has fun opening and closing a fun fold card. So I came across this card online on Julie DeMatteo's website, her website. She's called what is her name? The Paper Pixie, sorry. And she's a US demonstrator, and this was a really cute idea that she had done. So I'm going to show you how it works. So I'm just going to undo the ribbon. And when you open it up, it has 3 pockets, little sort of greeting cards in here. So you can either write your greeting on these, or you could even attach a gift card to them and stick it in on one of them, and then it just all folds together. So I'm going to see if we can show you how to do this. I've only done this once, and we will see how this goes. So we are going to start with a piece of fresh freesia cardstock. This is one of our new in colors, and it's cut at 8 1/8 by 8 1/4. So now we have to do a little bit of extra scoring on here. So I'm going to bring out my score board, and on the, I'm just going to make sure I've got the right side. Yeah, the 8 1/inch side, we're going to do 4 score lines. So I'm just going to stand up to do this. Okay, so the first one we are going to do at 1/2 inch. And then at 2 7/8. Whoops. Sometimes I always go out of the groove a little bit. So it pays to go a little bit slower sometimes. And then at 5 1/4. And our last one is at 7 5/8. Oops. Okay, then we're going to turn our paper a 1/4 turn on the 8 1/4 side, and we're going to score at 4 1/8. Okay, so I'm just going to put my scoreboard away. And I don't know if you can see these lines here. So we have 2 1/2 inch edges, and then we've got 6 squares. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it upside down, and we have to score a couple of diagonal score lines. So I'm going to use just my paper trimmer scoring blade for this. So what we want to do, oops, I'll just show you here, is from this first score mark here, we want to score on the diagonal from this. So we're not going to touch the edges. We're going to start on the first score line and go diagonal down to this score line, okay? And then the second one, we're going to line up here and go down to this score line, all right? So we're going to line those up in the track. So your first score line here, and my lighting is not very good here today, so let's see if I can get this lined up. Okay, so I'm going to score down our first one, and then we are going to line up the second one and go down to this score line down here. Okay. Okay, so then we have 2 diagonal score lines going down. Okay, So now what we want to do is we want to fold on all of our horizontal and vertical ones. So you're just going to fold and burnish them with your bone folder. Okay, so those, and then our center line. Okay, and then we're going to turn it over, and when we turn it over, our diagonal lines, like I say, will be going this way. Okay, so we want to fold those and burnish them as well. All right, so then basically your diagonals are like a valley fold and your horizontal verticals are a mountain fold. Okay, so now what we need to do is trim 2 of our side edges. So we're going to trim off this top left edge and the bottom right edge. So you can just do that with your snips. Okay, and then on the piece that's remaining, we're just going to miter the corners or just trim them off a little bit at an angle. Okay, so that's our bottom. Then we'll flip it and we will do the same on this top left. Cut that off, and then we will just burnish, or sorry, miter these little corners here as well. Okay, so we've cut off the top and the bottom. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to turn it a quarter turn. So our tab at the top is on the left and the bottom tab is here. So when it's lying like this, you're going to have one straight corner. You're going to have in the top right and a straight one that has not been scored on the bottom left. So this is where we can start adding our designer paper. So you're going to pick a pattern, whatever designer paper you want. I chose the same one that Julie did, the hand pen, because I think it's just so beautiful. So we're going to cut one piece, is cut at 2 1/4 by 4. And it is a directional paper, right? So you want to make sure that your flowers are sort of going in the right direction. And then you're going to have 2 pieces that are cut at 2 1/4 by 3 7/8. Now these 2 pieces we are also going to want to cut on a diagonal. So we're going to cut from the top left to the bottom right on both pieces. So again, you just line them up in your paper trimmer. And whoops, got my scoring blade there. So just cut those. And then the same on the second piece. So just line up your corners in the track and give it a little cut. Okay. So now we can start putting this on. So our larger piece, our 2 1/4 by 4, we are going to attach in this top right corner here. So with glue or with your Stampin' Seal, whatever you're most comfortable using. So we're just gonna put that in this corner. So now with our diagonal pieces, we are going to take the bottom 2 corner pieces, the ones at the right angle, and we're gonna lay one here and one here. And the other 2, we're gonna flip and we're going to put one there and the other one will go in this triangle like that. So that's how they're going to sit. So then again, you can just put your adhesive on and adhere all of those. Okay. Who knew there were so many different kinds of fun fold cards? There's just so many out there. It's amazing what crafters come up with when they start playing with paper. And literally, it's just, these interactive cards are just so much fun. I know kids especially really love them, like for birthdays or whatever. They just have fun flipping and closing and flipping and closing. So, okay. So we will stick this last piece in this corner here. So if these ones are upside down, that's fine. That's probably how they will be. Okay, so now what we're going to do is add some tear and tape on our two flaps. So I'm going to attach this just along the score line. So not up at the top, just along both score lines. Okay, so put this one here. And this, whoops, this one down at the bottom. Okay, I just like to press on those a little bit to make sure they're down. And then you're gonna peel that off or use your take your pick tool. That's always great for removing these backings. Okay, so now what we want to do is flip this way, and we're going to fold this closed, but we need to fold in our two sticky flaps first, and then fold down. And if everything was cut right, it should match. Okay, so now is the tricky part. You may have to play with this a little bit to get it to fold the way you want, but it should fold like this. So you may just want to play with it a little bit. So again, I'll do it slowly so you can see, and then just press down. And the more you do it, the more pliable it gets. Okay, and that is how the twisting happens. Okay, so like that. Isn't that just so cool? Just really neat, really, really neat. Okay, so now we can do our three little cards that are going to go on the inside. So you're going to need 3 basic white, and those are cut at 2 by 3 3/4. And then I chose as my matte Highland Heather because that color is also in this DSP. And those are cut at 2 1/4 by 4, so just a little bit larger. All right, so before we stick them on top, we're going to do some stamping just on these 3 here. Just add a couple of flowers from the Hand Penned Petals stamp set. Beautiful watercolor images. They're just really, really lovely. So you can choose whatever colors you want. I tried to pull some colors from the DSP. So I've got Blushing Bride, and I have Mint Macaron, and the last one is Highland Heather. Okay, so I'm just going to set these aside for a second. So let's start with the Highland Heather, and we're going to use one of the larger flower images. And you can stamp. I'm just going to stamp in the corner. So because this is quite dark when it's juicy, I'm going to stamp off once and then just stamp on. Okay, so there's the Highland Heather. And then the Mint Macaron. I know a lot of people call it macaroon, which is not quite right. Macaroons are O-O-N. Macaron is O-N. Like those beautiful little French pastry cookies. They call them macaroons. They're actually macarons. So again, I stamped off on that one. Just a little pet peeve my daughter and I have for macaroons and macarons. Macaroons are coconut, macarons are not. Okay, just a little tidbit there. Okay, so the Blushing Bride, this one is actually not as juicy, so I'm just gonna stamp it direct, and I'm gonna do 2 of these because they're quite small. Okay, so 1 in each corner. Okay, so to insert these, now like I said, sorry, we're gonna have to mount these first. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. You could, instead of a white piece, you could just mount a gift card on here, or just not mount a gift card at all and just insert it. That's always a nice surprise. So let's attach these onto our Highland Heather. Okay, so I've got one. And we've got, oh, get that straight, 2. And then our last one is right here, our 3rd. Okay, so now we're going to insert these into our pocket. So the first one, do decide we're going to stick right at the front. Okay, and that will go in quite nicely. The second one, you're going to want to insert it in front of this fold, but behind this one. So just like that, okay? And then the last one will just fit right at the back, and then you can fold it closed. And there you go, our inserts are in there. So now to decorate the front, I'm just going to, because it's, you know, loose and sort of opening, I'm going to tie it together with some ribbon. So I did have my spool of fresh freesia ribbon, which is this beautiful, very pliable ribbon. So this is great for this. So I'm just going to measure a piece to tie around here. So actually maybe I'll do it now. I always like to cut after I've tied, just in case I'm going to tie it too short. So let's try to put this sort of to the left. And we'll tie our bow. And then we'll still put on a little greeting. Okay, so there's, oh, it's kind of upside down, isn't it? Hang on, let's try this again. All right, so we'll do it this way. And this way. Okay, well, that will do for today. Not the best bow tire, that's for sure. Okay, so then we're just going to trim off these ends. And there is our ribbon. And then last, we're going to put a little greeting on the front. So from the stamp set, I use the Thanks. This is a really cool font. And there are a couple of other ones. Congratulations, anything's possible, feel better, friend. So I did the Thanks, and I stamped that in black memento, and then punched it out with the double oval punch. So we're just going to layer these on top of each other, like so. And then maybe I will add a little rhinestone just for a little bit of bling. Right there, and then we'll attach it with a couple of dimensionals. Okay, and then we'll put that, you can put it on the ribbon, underneath the ribbon. Maybe I'll do it like a little bit of both, so a little bit of the ribbon is tucked in. And there you go. There is your Hexagon twist pocket card, a fun fold card that you can try. So just a reminder, there is a designer series paper sale happening all of July, and this particular hand-penned paper is 15% off for the entire month, so a great time to stock up. And I do have a host code for July if you're interested. You can visit my website at christineludwig.stampinup.net, July host code T2E4HQAW. And my Facebook page is Christine Stamping Spots. So there are previous videos on there and other projects on there if you'd like to check it out. and like my page, or if you need to contact me, chris.ludwig@hotmail.com. So I hope you enjoyed that project today, and we will see you again next time. Have a great week. Bye for now.